All right, well, it's election year when all the gaslighting is unbelievable, especially when we're coming down to this this home stretch here. We are a month away from the most consequential election of our time, where the very democracy that is the United States of America is under threat. Where a literal dictator wants to steal this country. I'm joking. I think this is also stupid. And this is just getting, it's like the gaslighting is just unreal at this point. As you know, of course, the Fed is starting to cut back on interest rates because they have an election to win. It's not because the economy is doing super good, okay? Which they will try to claim that's the case. So you got that going on. You got idiots endorsing Kamala Harris, as in like washed up celebrities. You have just so many things. So I've been sick. If you watched my video yesterday, I've been sick now for, excuse me with the cough drop. If it's clicking around, I'm sorry if it annoys you. My throat is, I'm dying, dude. I've been sick now for like a week. When my wife had it, she was sick for like a month, it felt like. So whatever this is sucks. It's going around, this horrendous plague. And so I had a bunch of stuff lined up to talk about this week, and I thought, you know what, it's Friday night, there's not a whole lot going on, so I will just cut to it and find some things to talk about. And of course today, the neocons have officially endorsed Kamala Harris for president as Liz Cheney. That's right. The Liz Cheney. The Liz Cheney. You should care about this. She chooses country over party. Kamala Harris in the birthplace of the GOP. Ripon College or Ripon College in Wisconsin. Hey, before you continue on this though, can you guys please just like my video and subscribe to my stupid channel? I'm trying to grow. It's been a slow slog. If you really like to help me out too, check out my Substack. It's free. I'm going to start writing that every day. That's right. Article a day, 7 days a week. I haven't been very good about it. So I'm recently a PhD graduate. I'm Dr. Jesse Roberts. I'm a historian, a writer, podcaster, content creator, etc. And so my Substack will be my main venue of just next to my videos, keeping up with this kind of stuff. And if you're interested in it, the point of my newsletter is to have a place, and same with my channel, is to have a place for people that hate the establishment politicians and can't stand this fake show that is politics and the gaslighting in the news. Come hang out with me, because this is what this is about. Place to just, we can have a community of people that we all hate this together. Our nice libertarian community. So please just give me a like, give me a share, whatever. All right, so Vice President Kamala Harris took her presidential campaign to the literal heart of the GOP territory in Wisconsin. The community of, is it Ripon or Ripon? I don't know. It's a college. It's supposed to be the actual birthplace of the Republican Party. Now, Liz Cheney says, I have never voted for a Democrat, but this year I am proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. She is standing in the breach at a critical moment in our nation's history. She is working to unite reasonable people from all across the political spectrum. She said, choosing country over party. And then Kamala Harris said, Trump recklessly tramples on our democratic values. Please tell me, Kamala Harris, what are our democratic values? As you campaign with Liz Cheney. So in case you don't know who Liz Cheney is the daughter of Dick Cheney. Liz Cheney she's what, a senator or a congresswoman? I think she's a senator. Senator from like some BFE state, Wyoming or something. Or Idaho, some stupid, Nevada, I don't know, one of those states. Wyoming. Oh, she's a rep. Not anymore. Not no more. You know why? Because people said, you suck. You suck. Because we don't like freaking rhinos. And you just showed us what you are. But dude, her dad's Dick Cheney. The left, the Democrats, are proud to have the endorsement of Dick Cheney and his daughter. Do you know who Dick Cheney is? You should. If you're younger, you may not know what the big deal is about this guy. Dick Cheney was George H.W. Bush, so the first Bush president's Secretary of Defense. Do you remember all the stupid wars that, the Gulf War and all the people that died that we bombed there? And then when George Bush's son, George W. Bush, became president, they made Dick Cheney his vice president. And Dick Cheney liked to surround himself with neocons. If you don't know what neoconservatives are, it is a branch of, well, they're allegedly conservatives, but they're actually born out of the liberal party, the Democratic Party. They're liberals. During the Cold War, there was a shift in the Democratic Party to what they called the New Left, which was anti-war. And there were people in the Democratic Party that did not like this stance. They wanted to take a strong stance against the Soviet Union. They became what they called the neoconservatives. It was a plan to eventually kind of take over the Democratic Party, which they've done a good job of, actually. Because guess what? Neoconservative policies are Democratic policies now. The neocons believe in foreign intervention and, this nice security state that we live under and under constant surveillance and all these great things. They just love war. They love having us involved abroad. And they like this thing where if anybody is to dare challenge the military might of the United States of America, like try to be as big as us, well, they're gonna have a reckoning. Dick Cheney, so George W. Bush actually, excuse me, ran on being more of a traditional conservative. But Dick Cheney was kind of the guy that ran the show behind the scenes. And he surrounded himself with neocons. He would claim he wasn't a neocon, which is complete crap. And he loved this idea of us being involved in every stupid war we could be. And once upon a time, the Democrats were actually anti-war. In case you don't know that. That was kind of a thing. But when Trump became a thing, they ended up going with him. The Republican Party did, and this did not sit well with the pro-war neoconservatives. So they all flipped Democrat. Most of them did. They may not say that was their actual party affiliation, but they are, okay? So now they're all aboard with that crap. And Democrats are all aboard with neocon policies. Like what's going on in Ukraine. Very much a neoconservative thing. Big movement of the post-Reagan era. Okay. So I'm going to take my cough drop out because it's probably annoying. Yeah. I'm like a mouth sounds person. Like I can't listen to that either. I'm sorry. I can't talk. My throat's all hoarse. This blows. So Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala Harris, and the Democrats are proud of this fact. Now, what they claim is that this is a big move because even the most staunch Republicans are now voting for Kamala Harris because that's how big of a threat Donald Trump is. That even someone like Dick Cheney would vote for Kamala Harris. That is a proof that Donald Trump is the ultimate threat. And it's like, no. It's proof that your values align with Dick Cheney's values now. They do. Everything that the left used to complain about the Democratic or the Republican Party being, the Democrats are it now. Democrats are pro-big pharma. They're pro big government. They're pro censorship, pro war, pro everything. Pro, you know, you have to trust the media, like all the things. They're anti-free speech, pretty much. You know, they're all the things the left used to really stand for. They don't. Dick Cheney's values didn't change. Okay? Liz Cheney's values didn't change. They're the same person. But they don't fit into whatever this new Republican Party thing is. They do fit in with what the Democrats are. And so here you have it. At the birthplace of the Republican Party, Liz Cheney endorses Kamala Harris because she picks country over party. Yeah, okay. Because y'all are totally not on the same side. Liz Cheney is not a conservative. She is a uniparty establishment person. Okay, she's one of those, which there are so many of those, just like Kamala Harris is. Just like Joe Biden is, just like Dick Cheney is, just like Mitt Romney is, just like Paul Ryan is. Who? Paul Ryan was this goofy dude that ran for he was Mitt Romney's vice president. He was once the Speaker of the House, and once again, totally falls in line with the neocons there. Shocking, I know. And it's ultimate. Trump's the ultimate threat to our precious democracy. Man, I stay up at night thinking about, man, you know what I think when I lay in bed and I'm like, man, thank God we live in a democracy. My democracy is so precious to me. The democracy thing is complete and utter gaslighting, okay? This democracy is not this sacred thing. Your constitutional rights are your rights to speak freely and defend yourself and assemble and have press that, you can criticize your government. Those are far more sacred than whatever they claim democracy is. They live in a democracy that you are not a part of, okay? And Liz Cheney is right up there with them. They don't like you. They certainly don't like Trump, and it's not because they don't like Trump. It's because they hate what Trump represents. Case, once upon a time, I know it's hard to believe now based off how stupid his campaigning has been, but Trump was a anti-establishment candidate. That was the whole appeal of him in 2016. I know now he's just kind of like a stuffy, boring, I don't even know what, with stupid economic policy plans, and he's just kind of being kind of a whiny crybaby, and I don't know, just, it's not a fun campaign, it's not interesting, it's not what had once been appealing about him. And trust me, I'd rather him over her any day of the week. But the establishment thing, that was the appeal, right? And that means the people that supported him initially were driven. They didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. There are people that voted for like a Barack Obama twice that voted for Clinton or Trump over Clinton because they were sick of it. They were sick of the continuation of whatever that system was. And so that was considered dangerous because it was a movement in the United States, a populist movement, which is always a big no-no. Like the American government, the establishment, they do not like populism. No sirree. And that was the movement that made Trump dangerous because he represents people and he gives a voice to people who think that the government, and if my audio is clipping, I'm sorry. I don't know how to fix this problem. It's very annoying. He's a danger to our way of life, our way of constant war and in the military industrial complex, and he represents people that don't like that. So we need to stick together, us uniparty people, and fight back against this guy. And what you have to realize is these people they just hate you. Okay, they don't like Trump, whatever, but it's because they just don't like you. They think what it is they think these people are they deify him in a way, and that they're like this dogmatic cult like religion that follow him, and will do whatever he says. And since these establishment people think that anybody that can be against them is just some major threat, because they're automatically, they're just automatically stupid because they don't believe government is amazing. That's why Trump's the threat, right? So, and so, Liz Cheney, when she says it's country over party, no, it's their way of life over country. They cry all the time about democracy, but they can't have Trump running because he's a threat to democracy. And what they're saying is there's a very good chance that the people will democratically elect him, and they did not democratically elect Kamala Harris as candidate, but he's still such a threat because, democracy is under threat, but the people can't democratically elect him because that makes him a threat to the democratically. I don't know. Yep, I'm tongue-tied. I'm tongue-tied. Tongue-tied. Tongue-twisted. But you get what I'm saying, right? So here you have it. This is the continuation of the neoconservative establishment joining hands with the neoconservative establishment, and the uniparty's back together to have a party. And it's just you can't make it up. But yep. Then they went to the birthplace of the Republican Party. Now, actually, if you don't know this, as a Michigander, the idea for the Republican Party's birthplace was in Jackson, Michigan. It's where politicians got together and said, hey, we should, fight back against slavery. Let's form a party. And then the officially recognized place is wherever this stupid event happened. But hey, at least she's there to defend the Republican Party. She needs to fight for conservatism by voting for Kamala Harris. This is a thing I see all the time now. This idea that I'm a Republican, but I'm voting for Kamala Harris. Then you're not a Republican. You're not a conservative. You have no principles then. You're better off just not voting if you really can't do the Trump thing. Because regardless of how you feel about Trump, he certainly kind of stands on whatever conservative values are. And you're not a conservative if you can vote for somebody who is arguably one of the most radical leftist presidential candidates we've ever had, who has a vice president who is the same vice presidential candidate who is in the same boat and being pretty far left. But I'm voting for Kamala. It's the first time. No, you don't want a Republican or a Democrat. You want a grown up who's going to tell you what to do, who's going to take things back to the Obama era. I'm sure you're like a baby boomer. You miss the good old days of Reagan and Bush and all the people that destroyed the world we live in. You miss those days. Now, Reagan, I don't know much about the guy, honestly. I'm not saying he's a destroyer of the. I'd certainly say George W. Bush, though, can fall into that category, right? You miss those days, though. You miss those days where it's just like the debate. I was thinking about this earlier. It's a very bizarre thing to watch because it's this thing that just doesn't mesh with real life in any way. They have the politically correct thing on. They try to act all proper and this is the vice presidential debate and there's music going on and it's like this epic fake thing. It's theater, but it's bad theater. They're not good at acting. They're not good at acting. They're not good at whatever they do, right? And I guess I don't understand. This thing is pissing me off. I don't understand what this is for anymore. Because you're like me. right? You don't watch the news. And it's there for people that think that that is real life. It's people that think that our political leaders are the way they act on stage. That's how they are in real life. Okay? They're like these people that just like, they're just like on a pedestal. They're just so great. They are so much more, they're so qualified for this position, to do this job. They know better than all of us. Look at how well they speak, and look at what they know. They know policy off the top of their heads. And they sit up there with these two newscaster women who talk in the newscaster voice. And that's it. That's real life. Like, who is that appealing to anymore? Did you watch the vice presidential debate on whatever day that was, Monday, and go, wow, that's probably how these guys act in real life? No, it's a show. It's a stupid show. And it's just so stupid and exhausting and fake and and patronizing. Aren't you tired of being patronized? Be like, oh, little peasant, you are not on my level, but this is how we act. And it's just like, no, you guys are gonna, you're right. One of you is gonna get elected, and you're gonna suck at everything you do, and you're gonna destroy this country more. And my kids aren't gonna have a nice country to grow up in. But I gotta pretend like you're better than me because you can go up on stage and speak properly. Joke. So, well, congratulations to Kamala Harris for getting Liz Cheney's endorsement. I'm sure she should be proud. She's probably proud. Okay, so I wanted to kind of talk about the economy a little bit. But first of all, let me see if I have it up here. So, I'm not sure if you're aware, but, of course, stupid celebrities that endorse Trump or endorse Kamala Harris, it's really great. Because Trump's the most dangerous candidate. He wasn't president before. Well, he was, and he didn't accept the election results. Well, he's not in office anymore, so he must have at some point. Doesn't matter. He didn't come out and publicly say it, so he's dangerous. He's dangerous. Because we have democracy, and democracy precious. Democracy is God. Democracy. So, I'm sure you saw it. The jobs report came out. The economy is doing way better than we thought. There are way more jobs than we anticipated. We're mind blown. Well, it's October 4th. And just like every other month, at the end of this month, they will have to go back and change the amount of jobs that were actually created. Many of them will be part-time jobs, government jobs, what have you. But this is a very convenient report to come out now. Because what are you going to go back and change it in November when the election's happening? It's like this. So this was a funny thing from the White House account, or the White House, the official White House X account. Jobs created by president. Because apparently Joe Biden is still president. Now apparently, every president sucked at it. And then Trump, he actually had him in the negative. But Biden, oh man. 375,000 jobs a month. It's just gaslighting beyond gaslighting. Because the entire time that Joe Biden has been allegedly the president, he claims that Trump had a record. When Trump left office, the economy was in its worst state ever. He had the worst unemployment of all time. Then when Biden came in office, he had the most record employment numbers of all time. It's like, yeah, but you know, there was that whole pandemic thing that you guys are all really, really on board with, that we should shut down everything. And we did. And even still, the economy was not terrible because the terribleness was coming later from all the money we printed, right? But gas prices were still low. Cost of living was low. Wages were and better. And this whole thing of Biden taking credit for people. So everybody got laid off or had to leave because of scary virus, right? And then they went back to work after. Like just thousands and thousands of positions that were vacant. And what happens is Biden takes credit for people going back to work, saying he created jobs. And then today, we get the new jobs report that, you know, Biden just blew it out of the water. Biden's so great. He's so great. And if you don't think the economy is great, you're stupid. Did you know that? You're just wrong. We're doing that thing still. But they have to do that thing because the election's coming up. You know, they have this super scary guy. It's a major threat. B, and number one issue pressing for most people is what? The economy, right? So we have to figure this out. How do we stop scary guy from getting elected? I know we pretend like the economy is great and you just can't see it because you're stupid. And since we're in government and we're smarter than all of you, we can tell you it's good and you should believe us. Because why would we lie about this? So, of course, I did some digging. Let me pull up my stories here. Sorry if I'm sounding sick and terrible. All right, so here we go. Let's jump on this. Now, this is a professor from the University of Michigan who, he wouldn't lie to you. Reality check, what's up with the economy? This is from September 8th of 2024, so it's a month old. If you ask Americans which issues will affect their votes this November, the number one response is the economy. The number two is inflation. But wait, isn't inflation part of the economy? We're all just actually concerned about money. But guess what? Our unemployment rates are at a near 50-year low. Near a 50-year low. Interest rates are dropping. It will drop prime interest rates even more this month, the Federal Reserve says. Now, we know the pandemic did kick off an inflation spiral, so a lot of prices are still much higher than they were a couple of years ago, but inflation has cooled almost all the way back down to where it was before the pandemic. It's 2.9%. But if the economy indicators are so good, then why do so many people feel like the economy is bad? Well, apparently, according to this professor, the real interesting thing is if you ask Americans how they're doing, they say pretty well, but the economy is doing terrible. Is that what you say? I'm doing pretty well. You, like, reality check? Yeah, you all need one. So new business starts are through the roof. Stocks at an all-time record over and over. When you look at what people do, they're making choices as if they believe in the future of this economy. And if there was a World Economic Olympics, the U.S. is going to win gold. We're recovering faster, getting more jobs and more GDP, and our inflation is falling faster backwards towards normal than any other country. So it says here that things are mostly back to normal and getting more normal all the time. Like, this is the world they live in, okay? They think that we're stupid, and that's why we think the economy is bad. So here's the deal, okay? He says that, yep, we know prices are kicking the gut, but guess what? Things are getting better. Well, that's a number one indicator for people that the economy sucks. The stock market, okay? Who the hell plays the stock market? People that can afford to. And there are people that are going to take advantage of a bad economy to make out when the economy gets better. And it's not people that can't afford to put food on the table for their family. They're not going to invest in the stock market. Bad indicator. GDP, bad indicator. GDP is a stupid metric. It's the only thing beneficial for, it benefits the politicians only, okay? It's just this random, like, overall measure of consumption, basically. But, so you have it here with, new businesses are through the roof and stocks are at an all-time record. New businesses are through the roof, apparently. It's probably because people got to do something. I'm a recent PhD graduate, and guess what I'm doing? I'm working for myself. And of course, they compare us to the rest of the world. Well, in case you weren't aware, we shut everything down, but the rest of the world shut things down way more than we did. And we are going to recover ahead of the world who, like, you know, we're the world's reserve currency. Okay, we are like the beacon on the hill when it comes to the economy. But this idea that somehow you're stupid and you need to realize things are good, things are going back to normal. Okay, inflation rates may come down, but that doesn't mean inflation goes away. Okay, the rate of inflation has slowed. Your money still is devaluing every day. Even there's the target rate of what, 2%. Okay, but your money is still devaluing at that rate. All the devaluation of money that's recently happened is still the same. It's not going to go. You're not going to, you know, bring that down. That accrued inflation is there. Your money is worthless. You know, and there's this idea that somehow, well, money, the American dollar has been devalued 20%. Yeah, no. Now, if you base it off things that matter, like the consumer price index, what people are actually paying, how much money they're bringing in, and what their expenses are, try like 34 to 60%. And this is what they're going to do. They're going to try to convince you the economy is good. The economy is good, right? Because, you know, you're too stupid to find out otherwise. Here's another article. This is back from June. You know, the economy reached superstar status. Like, as if our economy was LeBron James, because we're doing so much better than all the other countries. Well, here we go. Look at the rise in everything, 2022 to 2023. The historical average up to 2022 is this gray lines. I don't know if you can see these, okay? But food hung around like 2%-ish until 2022, shoots up to almost, it's 5% to 2023. Okay, as far as 2024 goes, who knows? That's the average food at home prices. Retail food price inflation is 2.5% per year. Now, from 2022 to 2023, food at home prices rose by 11.4%. Of course, pork is the only category to decline in price, because guess what I've been eating a hell of a lot of. But here you go. You're just wrong. Price for major consumer price index categories from 2019 to 2023. Food changed 25%. Transportation, 27%. Housing, 20%. Like, this is catastrophic. This is to 2023, okay? Things are not good. The economy is not good no matter what they want you to believe. Like, that is a mega rise. And if you're like me, okay, I recently graduated with my PhD, looking for work. I'm self-employed. I'm trying to do like copywriting and things like that to make money. My wife is a medical student. We have no money. Okay. Times are tough. What I used to be able to get for food, what I used to be able to spend on food in 2020, it's light years away now. You cannot maintain this. There's no way to maintain this lifestyle. And I'm not even buying expensive. I eat meat and a vegetable for dinner. That's it. One vegetable every night with meat. During the day, I barely eat lunch because I got to cut back. Breakfast, I have a protein shake in the morning. Don't eat snacks all day and all that crap. I can't afford this. Okay? Grocery prices for a family of 4, my grocery prices probably went up about $800 since 2021. I'm not exaggerating at all. Go to the store and you tell me. The other day I was at the store looking at just blocks of cheese. I couldn't find one for less than $5. Things that I would have paid $4 would have been the high end back 2 years ago. It's like $5 to $7. It's just $5 to $7. It's insane. Eggs are insanely expensive. And they're trying to tell you everything is good. Like, I'm so tired of this gaslighting. And these, like, are there people out there that actually believe this? Because the people they're trying to reach with this narrative are the people that think the economy sucks. They're not trying to reach their, dogmatic cult members who are going to vote for them no matter what, who are convinced the economy is good. They're not trying to win those people over. They're trying to win over the undecided voters who don't think the economy is good. Maybe if I railed in your head enough, then your grocery bill will not seem that bad, even though you can afford it. Wages are not getting any better. So, like, we're coming up to the election, and they're going to continue to really pump this narrative out that the economy is better than you think. And you need to really understand that they're full of crap. And you need to show people in your life that believe this stuff the true data. Listen, I promise you, if you have like liberals in your life, there are people that they think that the reason why things are expensive are because of what do you think? You tell me what they would say. Because what I've heard them say is people are willing to pay for expensive stuff. And that's why things are expensive. And I look at people like that. It's usually people that like don't really have to struggle. People that live at home with their parents, stuff like that. And it's like, you really think that? You really think that I'm spending all this money for groceries because I'm willing to pay it? It's because I have no other choice. What am I going to do? Starve? It doesn't matter though, because it's just greedy corporations, not the greedy government at all, blowing money. Can't give any money to these rescue efforts, but for their hurricane. But here's money to go blow people up in Ukraine and Israel and stuff like that. When they say that Trump's a threat to democracy, no, he's a threat to you caring about to you caring about who we get to blow up next. Because he represents people that are sick of panning out all this money for endless wars and all these people that, die because we have to be involved in whatever stupid country. That's a problem. Like you're a problem. If you don't believe that we should just fork over all this money to these wars, then you are a threat to democracy. Because we only support democracies globally And we try to export democracy. And let me tell you, as a historian, I can tell you every time we've tried to export democracy, it's worked out. We are the experts at it, right? Because look at all the democracies that we've created. Look at Afghanistan and Iraq, and look at Vietnam, and look at all the great things we did. Look at Ukraine, giving them money. They're a democracy. Zelensky says no elections. Keep the war going. Oh, we're not a democracy anymore. But it's all good, though. The economy is good. So, there's going to be a narrative going around that the economy is doing well, too. Because look at what the Federal Reserve did. They dropped interest rates. They do that because they think the economy is good. They're signaling the economy is good. And it's like, there's just no possible way that you believe that. And then, yet again, I'm wrong, because people do. Now, what happens when they lower interest rates is what? They're encouraging banks to do what? Lend money. Artificial interest rates create a situation where people are either forced to spend money or hoard money. And the artificial aspect of it makes it much worse. So if the Federal Reserve says, I'm going to drop interest rates and the economy is really not that good, the banks have to loan out money, because the banks have to start, culling in their loans to pay back to the Federal Reserve. So when the banks start lending out money, what happens when more money hits the market? Well, that's called inflation. And what they're going to do is they're going to encourage people that shouldn't be taking loans out or spending money right now to spend a whole bunch of money and take out a bunch of loans, and they're going to give you that short-term dopamine hit, that drug of just spending money right now. Here's about the future. Who cares about the future? So, I know the whole thing happened with the dock union workers, like they've solved their issue or whatever, but that could have been pretty catastrophic when it came to prices. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the prices that are going to rise during the strike, it's going to be the same type of thing that happens when Trump slaps tariffs on everything. It's just going to make everything more expensive. Tariffs are not the solution to the economy. So yeah, you're not, should not be duped into thinking things are better than they are, because our 6-month inflation rate has actually been around 3.1%, not whatever that 2%, which is their target rate. And the immediate inflation rate, if you exclude, this is an article from the Epoch Times, if you exclude volatile sectors of food and energy, it shows the battle's not won. Inflation is running 4.2% at the most recent reading, more than twice the target. So you may ask yourself, if things are not really as good as they want it to be, then why are they doing this? It's not because they really care about the economy all that much. Let's say the Federal Reserve does a terrible job, which they do. But let's just say that people recognize that the Federal Reserve does a terrible job. What do you think happens to the people that are running the show? You'll get real pissed off and you can vote them out. You can pick somebody else. You can write a strongly worded letter. There's nothing you could do about it. And they have far more of an incentive to ensure that the people that they currently work under stay in office than they do to make sure that you're happy or you understand why they're screwing with interest rates or fixing the economy. This is just a signal right before the election to show you that, hey, you should vote for them because the economy is better, and then they'll get reelected, and then they'll keep us around. That's all this is about. This is just a big circular thing. Like, they have more of an incentive to keep Harris in office than they do to make sure that the economy is good and you're happy. They don't care about that. So, yeah, they're lying to us all again, but hey, they don't do that. They don't do that. It's like, but it's just like John Kerry said. I mean, we need a way to combat misinformation to come to a consensus, because if I was, if somebody could stop me from saying this, then we would all believe, and people like me would not have a voice, and then people would believe the economy is good. You wouldn't be able to see the truth. They want their version of the truth, and that's the only one they want. All right, so a few more snippets here. Let me see if I can find it. This is kind of an interesting story. Oh, where did I go? Oh, brother. Okay, here we go. Kind of interesting a thing. Here, okay. Let me show you. This is, several days old now. I was sick at the time, but Sopranos star Drea de Matteo. I didn't really watch The Sopranos. I'm a little young for that, but calls pro-Kamala Harris celebrities meaningless. Hollywood is dead. The music industry is dead. So this actress that was in The Sopranos says, "I'm still a super liberal, so I do feel like all of us need to come together, but a lot of people on the left are afraid," she said. George Clooney, Meryl Streep, and all these huge celebrities are endorsing war, supporting Dick Cheney. People have flipped. There's an inversion. See, somebody's actually calling it out like it is. And she has a point that, these self-important people in Hollywood think they're doing themselves a favor by acting this way when they're just killing their industry further. Because who really cares what these people have to say anymore? Who really cares what George Clooney has to say? Or what Meryl Streep has to say? Or what Bruce Springsteen has to say? Because apparently he said something about Trump being dangerous today. Or what Mark Hamill has to say. Like, Hollywood does not have that mythical status in our society like it did at one point in time. Like, it was just this thing that, like, millions gathered around to watch them walk down the red carpet to the Oscars and the Grammys. Like, who cares about that stuff anymore? I'm a huge movie buff. Okay, I if you would have known, talk to people that knew me, let's see, pre-pandemic, I kept up with what movies were coming out. I probably have thousands of movies, or hundreds at least, on DVD that I don't watch anymore. But I kept on with what movies were coming out. I would go see movies every weekend pretty much when I was like in college and in high school. Not so much as an adult, but I would, once a month, maybe twice a month. Since the pandemic, I've seen, let's see, maybe like 10 movies in 4 years. Because yeah, like I saw Top Gun Maverick. I mean, I saw that twice. Seen Devotion. I've taken my kids to a few movies. There's a theater in my town that reruns old movies like Back to the Future and Indiana Jones. I went and saw those. I guess I saw the Indiana. Okay, so it's like 15 movies. But like, you're talking like, traditionally, I would have seen, 15 movies a year. It's because Hollywood sucks. Movies suck. They're not good anymore. There's no original ideas. I don't even know who the big actors or actresses are now. And to me, it's just a poisonous tumor. It's like this place filled with just disconnected elitist people who like to go up on stage at awards ceremonies and lecture you about the climate and politics and stuff. Meanwhile, you live in like this evil, greed-filled cesspool. And movies just don't have quite the same. Movies or TV. I mean, I guess people like Netflix and stuff. Or they like, people like Disney Plus, right? I don't keep up with it. People like that, apparently. I know Disney has completely decided to commit corporate suicide by, destroying all their brands. But there's people that like some of that stuff, I guess, right? But it's not like it used to be. 15 years ago, George Clooney. Wow, George Clooney's endorsing somebody. Robert De Niro is endorsing somebody. It's any of those people. Who cares about those people now? Do you care? I've never understood people that cared in the first place about what movie stars and celebrities have to say. Wow, you're good at acting. You're good at pretending in a movie. You must know who I should vote for. It's just a platform to, get on your soapbox and lecture people. But now, like, I agree with this actress that just kind of seems like Hollywood is meaningless. And you're not helping your cause any by just coming across as a giant hypocrite. Like, you're praising, like I said earlier, you're praising the endorsement of Dick Cheney. These are the same movie stars that have forever been railing against war and all this stuff. It's just like Mark Hamill. I don't know, Mark Hamill lucked out by being in Star Wars. It's not like he's a good actor. It's not like he's amounted to anything since then. Okay. But that guy, he's just a boomer, dude. Total like leftist boomer type. Totally like all about the establishment, political leadership, and like you're supporting the war party, dude. Now listen, you don't have to like Trump, dislike him, but you guys had a pretty good candidate in RFK Jr. The Libertarian Party candidate sucks. I am libertarian. I will not give that dude my vote. But if we had a good candidate, like a Mises candidate, which is what I consider myself part of, like Dave Smith or somebody, then I would have voted for them in a heartbeat. Or Trump, I'm like so over the Trump thing. It's exhausting. I'm sick of it. I wish we had somebody like better, because I think this campaign sucks. I think he said a lot of really dumb takes. I think the vice presidential debate the other night, both sides had a lot of really dumb takes. Every policy I'm listening to, I'm like, this is going to solve nothing. But hey, at least you're having a somewhat civil discourse. But it's just a weird, a weird thing. Sorry, I'm checking the score. Michigan State is playing Oregon in football. I'm a Michigan fan, so like always want to check up and see when the Spartans lose. But Michigan's not very good this year, so I'm trying to just be a football fan. So I'm checking the score. But yeah, so you have this thing where they're trying to be relevant still, and they're just completely running averse to what they used to believe in or used to publicly purvey that they used to believe in. But you're further just discrediting your industry. And like that was what happened during COVID. Remember the whole like, we're in this together. I'm just like you in my mansion. It's like, you're right. You're just like me. You are, I'm sitting here, I'm unemployed. My kids are out of school. I have no way to make money. But you're right. You're just like me. We're all in this together. Man, we live in a weird time, but in my personal opinion, everything that used to be the established norm in this country is broken and dead. Like, the whole like political elite thing is on the way out the window. The media is a joke. Nobody believes them anymore. Hollywood and celebrities have never been more irrelevant. You know, there's just not that these things. Like, I guess you kind of have your athletes, but America used to be that. America used to be like, you know, we're the good guys of the world versus the Soviets, right? I'm not saying I believe this, but I'm just trying to like put it into perspective for you, right? And we used to have like movies, and we used to have TV, and we used to have culture, and we used to have we used to be all about like liberty and freedom, and we used to be about you know, we had baseball and football, and we exported these things, and countries wanted to be like us. All that stuff is gone. Nobody wants to be like us anymore. And you know what? Good that I'm glad these things are over. I'm glad the stranglehold Hollywood had on us is over. I'm glad the media has been discredited. I'm glad that the establishment politicians live in their own world and they're losing their credibility, because that was always the way, but that doesn't mean that it was the correct way. It's just they've been exposed, and they expose themselves. And I think that now, you know, it's time for something new. It's time for credibility. It's time for people that we can trust. It's time for a new Hollywood that's not full of like self-righteous jerk-offs getting paid tens of millions of dollars, and you know, pretending like they're like somebody I should really listen to as a intellectual figure because they get paid a bunch of money to act in a movie. You know, and maybe the door will be open for actual creative people to come in and do stuff. And it's time for us to rebuild American culture to a way that's not just that's not just ideologically captured by the left. Big tech, you know, all these things. You know, Elon Musk buying X, huge, whether or not you like the platform the way it is, you cannot deny that from a free speech perspective, like, imagine this election cycle without it. I mean, it would be, you wouldn't know anything that's going on, probably. You have like Rumble, which is great, but Rumble is, so I'm on there, right? But you have these platforms like that. And from you know, there is a, like, there's a hesitancy to use these things. If you ever tell people to use them, they're like, no, I'll just go to YouTube, right? They don't want to touch that stuff. It's really hard to get people to try to convince people to go to another platform for anything. Like, they like it the way they like it, and they don't want anything new. And I'm just gonna say honestly, I don't even want to say the name of the platform on here, but let's say it rhymes. It's the platform I just mentioned. That is more free speech, the one that, not Elon Musk, the one that the video streaming platform that rhymes with tumble. Not exactly the greatest for content creation. Sorry, said that out loud. I was pretty gung-ho about it at first, and then I realized that, like, they put in place, like, the way that they're, I guess, I don't even know if they have an algorithm, but whatever it is they have, it like really sucks for getting discovered. It's kind of a crappy interface, and I really appreciate the free speech aspect of it. I know they're fixing things, but there's like lots of things they need to work on, and it's very difficult to really build a following on there. I've been on there for about 2.5 months now, and I have like 13 followers, and I think I've put up like almost 80 videos. And I'm working on my stuff, trying to make it better. I understand it's partially on me, but I jumped into this not knowing what I was doing. But there are things that need to get better in that regard. So you really just have like X, but it doesn't matter. Like, there is a movement for more free speech oriented platforms. And I look at what happened to Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg is being apologetic about his past. He is regretful of intervening in elections. He's claiming a more like libertarian type leaning now. He does sick of politics because it's ruining his platform. You know, this thing he built. And I think that, well, if he's honest, it's fantastic. I don't know if he is, but how great would it be if he joined the free speech thing? Now imagine that. Imagine that. Now listen, there are very powerful platforms out there that are not free speech. You know, the most powerful one being YouTube, right? They have moderation and things like that, and it's difficult to move. It would be difficult to like kind of make that more open. I would love it. You know, it's a great platform. I've always enjoyed it, and you know, far more people use that and are on it than they are any of these other platforms. But like, if that were to move to a different way, then great. You know, so things could be changing in this country for the better, changing in this world for the better, and hopefully it is. And we need to just kind of install our own culture. Write your own books, do your own podcasts, make your own movies, make your own TV shows, make your own products. Because eventually, like this whole establishment thing, the old school thing, it's not sustainable anymore. So, all right, I'm going to call this video here. I appreciate you watching. I'm going to sack out on the couch, watch some football, and pass out here. I'm not sure if I'll be on tomorrow. I'm still not fully 100%, but I tried to get in here to do this. I told my wife, I'll do a 20-minute video. Turns into an hour every time. Can't stop. So please, if you could, like, subscribe, and share, and also check out my Substack. And follow me on X, join Or Die News. I'll put the links in the description. Check it out there. I appreciate it. And if you could, you know, like, subscribe to my video, share it, what have you. I really appreciate the help. Thank you. Bye.